What's up, fam? So, you could probably tell from the title, going back to hybrid. There's a few little changes. Basically, I checked what a hybrid run looked like for me, and we closed the gap a bit on the Devo. So here's where we are at almost 8.8k waves. If you take a look down the side, thought we haven't done this in a while, so I'll show you what a run looks like. We're at 105 billion damage. We're at 118 trillion wall, and the enemies are hitting for almost 500 trill. So what we might do is, I've still got a little bit of legs left in this. I could probably go to around 600 trill damage from the enemies. So what we'll do is I'll just work a bit of magic, we'll pause it, and we'll follow up when the run ends. So we're almost at 9,000 waves. I feel like this run's gonna end soon. We are getting close to the enemies hitting for 600 trill. That's normally when it ends. So while we go back to hybrid, so we went from Devo just to give it a try, and I felt like the coins were alright, and I'm kind of in a little sticky situation, and we'll be able to look at it when we do the rounds. But while we're in here, so this is what my damage is at. My attack speed 36.38, crit factors at 126. I don't really think, maybe you guys want to look at the super crit. There's the chance. Here's the multiplier. This 597%. That's mainly because of my module that I'm wearing. And there's the health. There's the regen. I do have a bit of labs into the wall regen, so it's a little bit above that. Oh look, and there she goes. Look, run's about to end. Boom. Let's have a look at the stats. So we're almost 40 trill. So at 39. 11.5 hour run. And almost 200k cells. So this is where we start swinging. So the almost 40 trill and the almost 200 trill. So these two numbers swing a bit, and I'm kind of in a weird spot in the game, so we might as well do the rounds. Boom, done skis. So we got, let's say, almost 90 trill. So go through the stats for the week. We're at 3.2 Q, slowly creeping up to 16k stones, and labs 1.42, which I think, is that the same as last time? So the last update I did was a couple weeks ago. Life throws lemons. They tell you to make lemon juice out of it, but sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches. So here's the runs. So these are almost identical. Now if I did Devo, I would have to run tier 10 if I try to fit it in with the typical schedule that I run, so it may be a bit higher or not. They're fairly similar. Now, it's, people might ask, well, how the hell is your Orb Devo similar to your hybrid run? So there's a few probably key things, and I'll try to identify them when we go around. So we'll start with Tawny's. Oh, ticket. He's due. So we got a champ run to do. Fast ultimate. This will be easy. So look at the history. So we're getting up near that 200 wave-ish mark. 180 there. 120. Look at this. 1919, 1886. We do have the run to do tonight. This run here, honestly, I got it to 800 waves, and I just left it. So I just set it up, and then I just took off, and then we were out with some of the fam, and then yeah, so didn't even try. Oh, they were pretty favorable conditions, but yeah, that's ridiculous. Hours on hours for these runs. I really need to get out of this to and fro. We'll see when it started. So it started, looks like in February. In February we started the bouncing around, and I started the champs. We'll say basically here solidly in champs from December, so just before Christmas, and then first tournament all the way down here in the 8th. What's that? Is that August? Yeah, that's August. So almost September, the 28th. So that's when I first started. Silver, copper, so on and so forth. So that's the histories. Event, not gonna lie. So this one's a good one. I mean, it's only 2%, but it all adds up. This one, she's alright. This one, gay. 1% free ups. I suppose it all counts if you're running as a BHD, the black hole digester, but and recovery amount. So that's for your recovery package. That's another lame one. Why the hell would I want? Anyway, so we're just going through with these. Poverty bots doing pretty good. So here's one of the things that helps with the hybrid instead of an Orb Devo, as I don't run sync. I think most of you guys know if you've been tuning in for a while. I haven't bothered to run sync. I probably won't until I try the J-Up Orbless. I know he called it the Free Up Orbless to max or whatever you wanted to, but don't be too humble, J-Plays. We're going to call it the J-Up Orbless. So would probably be, I'm looking at the Multiverse Nexus calculator if we get an Ancestral at some stage, and I think I'd be at like 65 second sync. So we would respec and we'd get it in sync, we'd put the black hole digester on, and that's probably when we're going to go for sync. So the reason why I'm rambling on is because I'm running perma black hole. I'm just getting, there's times in a Orbless Devo when you're not running sync and the golden bot's just not up, so you're not really going to get much benefit, whereas every time that, you know, it's activating, for all of that activation I'm slaying stuff in it. So that's something that benefits more of the hybrid style instead of the Orb Devo for my build currently. This thing, so look, I need to change that. Is that, how do I look? I've week 2, you can see the last time I've updated that. Change it to whatever. Guild description too short. I'll give you too short, Uncle Fuds. So we've we had Envy join in. So we've been super solid this last week or two. Our man Envy. Boom, look at that, highest rank, level 9 Legends, Lego player. So that's a good addition. Welcome to the club, Envy. For Guardians, oh, while we're on this page, where does it say? So this is about to reset for next week in another day or two, but the season actually ends in 8 days. Now there's a little bit of chitter chatter. So when that season ends, are we going to get a small update? Are we going to get a big update? If we're going to get a big update, it's cutting it pretty thin. So, you know, there's a few things that I think Uncle Fuds wants to do. But in 8 days, oh, I don't know. But regardless, the new season starts in 8 days. And we could talk a little bit more about that in next week's video. I did actually get the second slot. I probably should put something in it. Reason why I got the second slot is I am hoping that in the next season they're going to do a little bit of a rework, especially to steel, maybe ally, but we do have 3 slots here that, you know, there might be a better one that comes in. We might actually get the opportunity to open up one of these other slots. So yeah, that's coming in. I'm hoping that they do buff steel. Fetch is in a pretty good place. Pretty happy with Fetch for the store. Done everything, basically. A couple more clicks in these that we'll pick up next week. And yeah, that's it. Season's almost done. Workshop. So I did click on the tabs in run so you guys can see where everything's at. Because sometimes when you look at people's workshop, it's not reflective of what a farming run is, and at the same time it's not reflective of what a tournament run is. Like, perfect example is, like, I'll switch out my GAT, put this one in, and look, it's jumped up, my crit factor's jumped up to 133, and we'll switch to my farming one, and it's gone to 126. So yeah, as far as these tabs go, I haven't actually put anything into these, I don't think. But just for reference, so that's at 350, that's at 330, so it's almost even. This one's 1350. I try to keep these numbers fairly round, so like I'd like that to go to 1400. You know, something that it's easier in case I respec and I just, you know, it just makes the clicking easier. But I have been doing enhancements. So I got damage, crit factor, super crit. They are all in level. I don't bother following a sheet, purely because it's just, again, it's just easier when you're clicking things. I would like to get them to 1.6, and that's just so on a respec, it's just 6 clicks in each. But I did get the attack speed unlocked, which I'm pretty stoked with. So on attack speed, if you guys haven't read, seen, heard, breathed, or eaten anything lately, well, I was watching Crowbar Zero's stream. He did a tourney stream where he was testing out some stuff, and then afterwards people, so Uncle Fuds was in the chat. Shout out to Uncle Fuds. And some people took some you know, some sections out of the chat in that, and they pretty much just saved it and they posted it through things. Well, one thing that they pointed out was attack speed. Now, if you're a little bit unsure, I wouldn't say there's a hard cap, but there's some sort of soft cap that everybody works around when it comes to attack speed, that basically past a certain point, the game, the way that it renders everything and all the light bangs and flash bangs and all the fancy stuff all over the screen, it struggles when your attack speed, if we go to this tab, where is it? It struggles with your attack speed is too high. So people sit somewhere around 40 to 45. They don't tend to go over 50. So I'm still quite a long way away from that. But the reason is because anything past there, it just kind of becomes pointless. And then it might be tournament dependent. Like, you know, when you slow the frame down, then you might get better value. I don't know too much of the specifics, but most of the guys that are up at that high 40s mark, you know, or 50, or, you know, I've seen people have 70 and all sorts of stuff. They ain't slowing down for nothing, lads. They're all gas, no brakes. So to them, it's pointless. If you do tourney runs and, you know, you get battle conditions where you do slow it down to 1 or 2 game speed, you might see a bit of benefit. So we are hopefully gonna see something changed where, you know, a lot of the bigger guys will benefit from us, but it also means for us smaller guys that we can happily invest in things and not find out that it just ends up becoming a coin sink where we were just wasting our time. Defense, I actually haven't touched this in ages. I think all I did was just, these might have been like 148 or 149, and I've just rounded it to 50, again for the respecs. For the orb size, I think it's something that I'm supposed to be unlocking. I don't think I generate enough coins that I can invest in the orb size to get it to a size that we're going to get any value out of it. So I haven't really seen any point. Now, the last time I was running tier 11 hybrids, my health was only like 67 trill. So the entire amount of the increase up to over 100 is, I haven't invested really anything in it. It's actually just come from my module levels. Utility tab, this is what it's looking. Haven't touched this in a while, but I think for this week and going forward for a bit, I think we're going to play around in this tab. This is going to be a thirsty tab. Like, I know the coin bonus and the sell bonus will shoot up to somewhere like over 300 trill soon. So yeah, this tab's going to occupy us for a fair wee bit. For cards, we saw a pretty big improvement in cards because we've had a few card events, and at the same time I've been trying to chase this wave accelerator. So this wave accelerator took my last runs that I was doing in tier 11 before I went to Devo. I was doing like 8700-ish, 8750, and then you guys just seen it. I can do like 9k waves, and it's actually in less time. So when I was doing around the 87s, I was maybe sitting like 12 hours. Sometimes it'll creep a little bit past it, maybe like 12 hours and 10 minutes or 15 minutes. 15 minutes, all depends on when I get the game speed perk. But because I think I was sitting roughly around here, so at 38%. So just getting that 12% difference did make a hell of a difference as far as how efficient we were in farming. So when I went back to hybrid, my runs were like just over 11 hours, and I was thinking, what the hell's going on? Like, I don't, if anything, I should be better. I got more health and whatever, but what I was actually figured out is I was actually hitting those waves a hell of a lot faster. So with all that rambling on, just means we're a little bit more efficient. I'm still running at 16 card slots. I'm desperate need for, you know, a minimum of another one, but ideally we'd get another 3, but I just keep pulling goddamn modules. Now, for moddies, let's have a look. Oh, actually, what we will do is we'll go, I forgot this tab. Ultimate weapons, UW. So this is another thing that what puts me in a weird spot. So because I've been doing a little bit into damage in that, and not through stones, like through coins and through labs and that, I'm in a really weird spot. So when I do my night run, I can't even turn my chain lightning on at all. If I turn it on, the thing with chain lightning is it indiscriminately kills. So some people think, you know, we'll just pump everything into chain lightning, but I'm kind of in a weird spot where it helps me and it hurts me in my runs. So as soon as I get this big window where my bullets are killing too slow, but if I turn the chain lightning on, it'll kill too fast. I'll lose coins, and I'll also lose cells because of the death wave effect that goes out. So I'm in a little weird spot. Now I can't even imagine what the spot would feel like if that damage was double, triple, or even higher. What that'll feel like. So if you ex-solar, like if you buy stone packs in that, all these little bumps in the road, if you're a spender, like a big spender, go ham. Like you can pump everything up and do whatever, because these little windows, you're not going to be stuck in these windows for an extended period of time. But if you're not a heavy spender, I'll just be cautious about some of the stuff you do as far as your stone allocation, or maybe even sometimes some of the stuff you do with your labs that it won't necessarily foot gun you, like, you know, end up screwing up your tower or anything, but you might find yourself in little weird areas of the game where you can't use things to its best potential, or, you know, it's just going to cause you a little bit of grief. So that's the dumb thing about my chain lightning, and that's only at 273 damage. Like once I get that to, like, I'm planning to take it to 500. It means in these runs that I'm currently doing, hopefully I'm in a different tier, because if I'm still in tier 11, I'm just going to end up nuking things too fast. Hopefully things change a bit, and it's just something I'm navigating at the moment. Here's where my cooldowns are at. So we are going to, after this tournament, we're going to take the winnings, drop that down. Am I expecting much as far as my runs go? Dropping those down by 10 seconds, not really. Might pick up a few extra trill a run. I'm not really expecting anything too much. Probably in desperate need of some bonus, but I think the main focus is we're just getting the right foundation before moving on to other stuff like what I really want to do is Chronofield. I'll need, people say don't bother unless you're gonna put at least 4,000 in it. Kind of had a look-see. I could probably get away with a good baseline at about 3,500. Yeah, but we'll cross that when we get there. So moddies, I did get this Ancestral. Look at that, lads. I'm just not sure. I think my big focus at the moment is focusing on when I get this thing Ancestral, the Sharp-Footitude, Uncle Sharp-Footitude, and rolling onto that for my farms, and then also Multiverse Nexus, and then I've got Dimension Core. So a lot of things, because these are all one-off, and I'm pretty happy we got the ACP, a lot of things as far as my progress goes is actually dependent on what I'm going to roll. Now the reason why I say that is, so if I get this Ancestral, I'll put, the first thing I'll roll on it will be Chronofield speed reduction, and that's so I've already got it, and knowing that that's the next thing on my list, and I'm not going to bother re-rolling. I'm just going to future-proof myself a bit. Same thing like Multiverse Nexus. I'm going to roll onto Multiverse Nexus, but I know I still got to get a bit of work to do with my cooldowns if I get it soon. So I'm not going to really equip it until I can survive, because I'll be doing kind of more of a blender without perma black hole. So my whole survivability changes, which means I'm going to need more. So I kind of need this one first. So you can kind of, maybe I'm overthinking it, I don't know. But that's kind of where we're at. Oh, that's what I also forgot. So yeah, super stoked on this. It's a shame it came a bit late. I needed it. I needed it like 2 months ago. Now there's Sharp-Fortitude. That'll end up being more of the farming one until like we're light years away from a glass cannon. But we got, look, here's another one. Another one. Boom. We got 141. We probably could do. We'll lock that and we'll just give it a little. Look at that. 1,000 dice. That's ridiculous. Oh, we'll take it, eh? We'll take it, lads. New skis. Boom. So we got that at 141. Let's go. We got this at 141. I did roll the GT duration on it. This is another thing that helps the hybrid over the Orbless is, for Orbless I only have a mythic. With the mythic only comes mythic rolls. So I get an extra death wave and I get a little bit of extra angle on this one. So that's another thing that helps. So once we get, you can see where things are favoring certain elements of a hybrid approach opposed to my Orb Devo. And we're also farming tier 11, whereas in Orb Devo I have to do tier 10. So yeah, we got 141. That's a pretty bloody big milestone, lads. Looks like the MVN's next. It's only a couple hundred off. So to get to the up there, so I've got a maxed out lab for the discount, for the shard discount. That's 2,100. Now I saw somebody send a screenshot. So this cost is only what, 500 bill? That's nothing. But like his ones, I can't remember what level his module was at, but it was like hundreds of trillions to upgrade it. And I know once you get to like Zedin's level and all that, or Ryan's, yeah, you need the queues, you need the big queues to be able to upgrade those. We're still a while away from there, but I know that this price is going to skyrocket soon too. So it's all going to go up. The shards are going to go up. The coin needed for it is going to go up. So hopefully we get a good solid economy before we get to that point. But yeah, massive milestone. I did invest in modules pretty early, and I was actually pulling modules early too. Boom. How did I know? How did my spider senses know one of those would be sitting there? So I did actually pull moddies fairly early, and I realized kind of the strength in them. So I did lab a lot of stuff to try to build up the levels, or at least, you know, help the snowball. 4 pulls. Has a little bit of stink luck. 2 there, 1 there. Oh no, that was the best luck. So this was on the 8th. What's the date today? Oh god, it's almost a week ago I got that. Wow, it's almost a week ago I got the ACP. I'd really like to use it. I'm kind of curious how it works, how it would work for me. Like, I know I'm supposed to roll a glass cannon and all that other shenanigans for tournaments. That's kind of why I haven't touched it, because I don't want to roll it, use it all the time, and then I end up having to re-roll it again, because I just got too many mods that are going to be ancestral that need to be rolled. So I just got it sitting there. We'll use it at some stage for labs. So here's what we're doing at the moment. Lab speed's at 89. Chronofield, wouldn't say it's almost done, because these last 2 levels are yonkers. Shatter Shards 3. Got a few more days real life time left in it. I've decided to bump this up a bit just to help with stacking a bit of shock, and then maybe that, I'm thinking that paired with a little bit of attack speed will help stack with Dimension Core for tournaments and that. And Crypt Factor. So these 2 labs have been flex labs for quite a while now. And once we get the Shatter Shards off, it'll be added to the flex. So the good thing is where our labs are at. So, you know, again, depending on how our hybrid runs, we've been consistently been able to keep everything at a 4x. It all just depends on, you know, try not to do too much damage through, you know, a big chunk of the run. So I think in that last run that you guys seen, I think I turned the chain lightning on a bit too early. So like, as these, if we go to the history, so like you can see shock chance, crit factor, damage, like as these labs are punching through, and because they're quite low level, my damage is bumping up quite a bit, which, you know, when you look at your, if you're a little bit unfamiliar, like when we look at damage and stuff in the run, like say if we go in here, we want to look at this tab, like, you know, that's really what we want to look at, the 16Q, and we want to see where that is. So when I'm doing my run, because I just run auto, I'm looking at how much damage I'm sitting on here. I'm looking at how much health the enemy has. So I run 4 cards. I run this. So 14 slots. I got no damage equipped, no attack speed, anything. I do keep the crit chance, and that's just in case we tag any of the basic mobs. That's pretty much the start of my run, and that goes all the way till roughly 250 little Q health. So that's the health of the mob. Now after that we switch to this one, and we'll run this one all the way up to so in that last run I turned it on at 300 big Q. Whoa. Don't do that, sorry guys. So I turned it on at 300 big Q, and that seems a bit early, so I might have to from now on start turning it on at about 500 big Q. Now what I mean by early is, so if we're cracking off out here, we'll go like this. So the chain lightning is coming, so a bullet comes out, hits that, and if a chain lightning hits, bang, and it chains out, and it just sprays out, and it just continuously flows like that. So a bit hard to see with the death wave going, But what I can do, I'll show you like this, turn that off, and then you'll probably be able to see it a bit better. Oh, it's not going to do it. Hold on. Hold on. So as soon as one hits, and if you see a chain, it's just going to slay everything outside of it. And that's kind of really what we want to avoid. Now you guys probably know all of this, but this is more for people that are getting a bit new, or maybe just trying to understand what I'm saying. They're a bit unfamiliar with what I'm talking about. Like, why wouldn't you just turn everything on? And it's because we're just trying to stack. So we got Golden Tower active here. Here's Golden Tower, so that's active, and we want to kill everything in here, if that makes sense. And then eventually we want the Golden Tower active. We want to kill in the black hole, but then we also want to kill in the spotlight. So that's once we move to orbless. So all of these orbs out here, these ones here are killing outside of my spotlight line. And then if you want to throw another curveball in it, so we're basically, this here is the sweet spot and where we want to kill. And if you want to throw another one in there, we can throw in, oh, where's it going? Any second now, you'll see it go off. Boom, there's the sweet spot. So now we've got this window here. So here's the spotlight. There's also the black hole. There's the spotlight. So we got the GT. We've got the black hole. We've got the spotlights here. And then for number 4, we've also got the golden bot. So you're getting all of those multipliers all stacked in one. And if you've got your orbs and stuff slaying outside in the wrong areas, this is where you're losing the most. Now it all depends on where it's killing. So these are just some strats that you take into consideration as far as your progression level. So we're still a wee bit away from getting there, but that's stuff that we want to look at. So for the labs, if we go to the history, so we're somewhere back here. It's a couple weeks ago. So feel free, take a pause. It's just mainly been, in the flex labs, it's just mainly been damage and crit factor, which is, yeah, there's as fast as it's changing, as fast as I have to adjust in how my runs go, because sometimes, so the difference in cells can swing, coins can swing maybe 5 trill, cells can swing like 40,000. So I just have to be careful and yeah, how I'm killing. So that's us for the week. Do need to start a tourney run, but if you like what you see, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you can see when the next video is coming out. And as always, keep it cloudy, fam.